Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going over Tales of Rhazie, and I wanted to go over some family trees. Why? Because when I decided when I wanted to go over family trees, it was because 100% I was off and on working on family trees. And I probably will be going back to that very soon. But I thought I would start with by going over um some of the older versions of the family trees real quick. So this is the main character family tree for Hazel and Stone, because it's their ancestor is Reed. Their ancestor is also the Vengeful Mother and Kirsten, but that's also beside the point, I guess. This version is, I don't remember which version this is. This is probably the version I made for the second draft, first draft going into second draft, especially since Jewel is still named Jewel here, because she got renamed to Pyrite. But reason why I say second draft going to third draft, first draft going to second draft, because Mia was originally gray. And I remember at one point I changed her when I'm doing family trees and stuff. I redid her ref again, so she's actually blue. But as you see, Cursed Tom and Vengeful Mother have a quote unquote cursed litter. One of those kids from that litter that got cursed is the one that provided the next generation and onward, which eventually will lead to Kabuto. Kabuto, canon-wise, did have other cats he had kids with. They just all died. Ginger died giving birth to 2 kids. Ginger had Cole of Grand Flower Meadow. Fun fact, between Ginger's siblings, Cole was the only one who had a name, and technically speaking, she had other siblings that were younger than her. Part of the lore. Her sister never was given a name. I've kind of redacted as of the third draft Cole's name because it's not important to the story to actually ever reveal his name, because he's literally just there and he dies. It doesn't feel as important. And just as a quick note, they are descendants of Reed and his unnamed mate. There's a small chance I might go back and actually name her when I'm actually working on part 2 of the Duke arc, because Duke starts with his own arc and then it leads into the heir Reed, Izzy, Ryan, and Talon are in. But Ginger has 2 kids, Slade, GM, and Flora. Reminder why his GM is because it's Grand Flower Meadow. Flora doesn't have anyone who repeats her name with, so she's fine. Slade in this version only has kids with Claire. Also, quick note, I don't remember when I decided it. I think I decided it in the first draft when I hit book 4 when I was having all the changes. Like that Flint and Shard were no longer fully evil. Shadow Knight at that point was still just blatantly evil for no reason. But I decided that randomly at that point. Reason why Mink had a beef against Hazel's existence was because he's actually siblings with Claire and he's mad that she went left with Slade and had kids with Slade. For reasons I never fully showed. Because I never actually wrote, or if I did, I don't remember writing much detail into Claire and Slade's backstory with Mink. Like, such things have changed for the third draft, as you guys will see. It's no longer Claire having weird feelings for him and feeling conflicted. It's now she had no choice in the matter, and her quote-unquote going willingly caused Mink's life to be spared. Another third draft differences, which I've not designed his mates, so you can't see it fully. He does have mating kits. Well, technically you can see on one of the trees, but they don't have designs yet or names yet. In this draft version, yeah, this was probably somewhere in the second draft, because this might have been an early second draft family tree now I think, because Silco did not exist in the first draft. But originally Shard was the only kid that Claire had for her first litter. Shard and Flint had Ice and Cobra. Then Flint died, and Shard gave birth to his kits last kit she would have with him, which was Vinny, Kelly, Thalia, and Draven. With everyone but Callie having a power of corruption, with Thalia being a visionary. I will say this, Thalia's eyes are based off Shard's Shadow Form's eyes, and they're one of the favorite things about her design for me. I really love her eyes. Also, Finny has a color defect. His Shadow Form has purple tints. I cannot remember if I decided that if either of these two would be Twisted Shadows for the third draft. I cannot recall. Something I probably should recall. Quick note for second litter of Hazel. Hawk in the second draft does not have kits. A piece of him that I have counted throughout the drafts is he doesn't understand why anyone will not have kits. The only difference with him in the third draft is he wants that booty. He wants to have sex. He's horny, but he doesn't want to have kids. He does not want to pay child support. That's Hawk's existence for the third draft. He's terrible in that sense. But Stone and Crystal, they actually, since book 2 of the first draft, when I saw a random character thing, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just put Stone in here. And then I saw the word kids, and I'm just like, yes. Randomly makes no sense, but yes, kids. Which is why we get Shimmer, Dove, and Sparrow. Also, at this point in this draft, this is somewhere in second draft where before I decided anyone cannot be a short-haired anymore because, fun fact, there was only really like 2 bloodlines where I had short-haired cats, and that's Stone and his kids. Ace was the only one with short fur. So it just made no sense. So yeah, and clearly because I have the more current designs of Ripple and Sapphire, this was probably made around Twisted Shadows, not long after that I wrote that scene, or decided to go with that scene. Or I went back and re-added Ripple and Sapphire. There's always that option. But quick note, Claire has this is the litter Claire has after her second litter. This is the litter that's exists right alongside Ice and Cobra, Aspen, Birch, Rowan, and Willow, who really don't play much of a role in anything. They're just there. That's something I do need to fix, is for our background cats to actually exist a bit more. Especially since the number count's going to be there, so I need them to actually do some stuff, even if it's just them cowering. And then we have the final litter with Slade, Spruce, Faye, Flower, and Callum. And here we see a mini family tree for Fennec and Thorn and Raven. I will have you know, it's only at the third draft where I realized, you know what, fuck it. This relationship's actually pretty weird. Let's detach Fennec from Thorn. Especially since I saw Fennec as more time went on as someone who just like doesn't put up with Thorn shit. Meanwhile, Raymond does put up with his shit, and she's very much a helicopter parent. So this did not make sense. But Solaris and Layla originally were his kids. I had originally had their designs based off the mix of them, and then I changed it. Quick note, Sven and Thorn's litter with Leaf and Fox are the same litter. It's just poorly seen right here. And then Timber is the following surviving litter, and the only one who survived his litter. Quick note about Raven is she either miscarries or births stillborns pretty easily, with the most successful litter being the one where she had 2 toms siring the kits. So, yeah, take that what you will. I will be giving her a few more surviving kits. Whether they survive to adulthood, who knows? Or if they survive long after adulthood, who knows? I may or may not kill cats off in the next draft. I need to grab the navigator, not the picture. But in this draft, Smokey, who I am debating to be trans. You can blame Scarlet the Furry for that. She doesn't even read my books, I don't think. And she's like, yeah, you should make a trans character. And like, my issue with it is I can't give body dysphoria for that, among other things. So I'm just like, I would have to figure out how to make the plot work for that and how it would affect Smokey in general. Fun fact, I randomly sometimes ship Leaf and Sapphire, but they're really just close friends. Funny enough, I actually shipped for second draft Ace and Leaf. They had good chemistry, and also Fox and Sapphire because they have shared trauma. Heather is very much a background sibling because I actually focused more on Smokey and Sapphire than Heather. Least important of Hazel's current in the second draft's first letter. And then we have Zinnia, Lumia, Jewel, and Mia, with Jewel later being renamed Pyrite, where I had roles planned out for them. Lumi is fully colorblind, unlike his uncle. That is something I have decided about his character from early on. Quick note about Stone in earlier drafts. Only third draft she's half colorblind. Also, Ice is vicious. She likes to bite off people's ears. I like to say that Shard is aggressive, and then Ice is that much more aggressive. Also, Mia is originally a runt, along with Hazel and Sapphire, but I changed how runts work because the only one of those three, Sapphire, who started off as a runt, became the biggest of her litter and one of the bigger mollies of the group. With Zinnia's actually would have outgrown her, and Leaf was the only one bigger than her. Actually, that's a lie. I think Maple was also bigger than her. So Leaf, Maple, and Sapphire were the largest of their quote-unquote generation, with Zinnia growing taller than them. Second draft also, these four did not know their older siblings. They heard about their older siblings, but they had to deal with more of growing up with their mother being paranoid and having to deal with Loki's faction attacking them. And Thalia gets a leg torn off. I guess it's less of a spoiler since stuff is going to change. I still might have Thalia's leg get torn off, but still. So, originally, the second series was going to deal with the dogs. Then the third series would be dealing with the factions. I don't know what the order of stuff is happening still. I might just scrap the dogs attacking them plot entirely. I don't know. But the third series, which is factions against Loki, that is going to change definitely because my current plans for the first series does not involve Flint dying, or if Flint does die, Shard's not fleeing. So stuff is going to change there. But originally, Thalia was going to get her leg ripped off by a dog, and then Shard will rage war against the dogs. So the factions weren't really dealing with the dogs except Shard's faction, and they were brutalized, murdering them. Reason why Liquid Power didn't deal with the dogs as badly as it could have been was the plan. Another minor plan that I don't know if I'm gonna keep is Izzy's release had to be through either Thalia or Zinnia because they're descendants of Reed and they are visionaries. And the reasoning would be, quote unquote, because they were the closest to the tree, that she could actually feasibly possess them and take them over. Because from Grandflower Meadow to the tree is way too long. And the issue with that is Zinnia would have been pregnant during that possession, and Thalia, if it was Thalia instead of Zinnia, it actually could have resulted in more deaths for Shard and her little faction that she made. But that's a plot that's definitely part abandoned, but how much I don't know. If I click here, here's the more updated version of that same family tree. And here's the I give Vengeful Mother heterochromia. This is after Hazel gained her heterochromia, so I decided to make it more clear Hazel gets that from a trait from the Vengeful Mother. But a lot of browns are in this family tree, so browns are easily passed on. As normal, Ginger and Kabuto have Flora and Slade. These two remain the same basically. I actually designed Claire's parents. I also designed Silka and Flint's parents, which I don't remember doing. I added Goliath, who I think at the point of me drawing this family tree, I had decided that I was going to make him live in the third draft, and I wanted to acknowledge the fact that quick note, he was dead in the second draft. I had changed the lore that Claire had given birth to a litter of 2, and he was one of the 2 that died. He was one of the ones that he was stillborn in that litter. With the third draft, Claire gives birth to her litter of 4, and these are the only survivors of that litter. This is also where I hit. Yeah, I'm satisfied with Hawk's design. Like, sometimes I still feel iffy about it, but I'm more satisfied than I usually am with it. Stone gets some darker markings along his back and stuff. Crystal got a slight redesign. All these characters are now fluffy, and did get some redesigns depending on who they are. Sparrow got a brown that's maybe the same as his mother's. It still looks off a little, but also made him dark gray. In this draft, they still know Stone is their father. Shadow Knight's not playing a role in that. Also, Shadow Knight in this draft does have a litter with Crystal, and that results in Crystal's second litter for this. I don't know if I have that tree up. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't have that tree up, so you're not going to see them. As mentioned, Fennec Head gets with Thorn in second draft, which is Layla and Solaris. They were going to appear as strays later on, but yeah. Also, I showed off more scars on this one. Smokey's here. He's still mates with Leaf. Sapphire and Ripple are still mates. Heather's single. I did a terrible job on this one for this. Why am I so bad at the slope? We're showing differences between litters. I don't know. I think I did a better job later on, but yeah. Also, Pirate got a slight redesign, and Zinnia's eyes changed. But this is mostly the same. And then also, in preparation for the third draft, because this was me when I was doing early third draft concepts, and I do mean early, a lot of stuff has been discarded, was Opal, Iris, and Shayla were born when Stone got back. Not Stone got back. Slade got back with Stone and Claire. That was a change that is still there, but these 3 exist now. Why aren't they Twisted Shadows? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I think a bunch of it is I was still trying to bait stuff. Like, some of these characters are now Twisted Shadows. Some of these cats have more kits. Some of these cats have redesigns. Fun fact for Callie, those injuries were given to her by Loki. And Loki was also supposed to shred Isis' ears. I was just on the fence about that, so I didn't draw that here. And then if I click here, which I don't have on, this part of the tree is not connected for some reason. I don't know why it's not. Ventral Mother, and who is nameless, and her unnamed maid, who is the cursed father, had unknown generations of kits, which led to Kabuto. Unknown parents of Ginger, who technically speaking are descendants of Reed, had Ginger, her unknown named sister, and Cole, who I have dubbed Unknown. Kabuto had Slade and Flora. I might have accidentally deleted the lines. I think that's what happened. Or I decided this was too small. Slade in the third draft also have kits with Shadow, who at this point I did not have designs for. And Claire, and then this is where I pointed out Mink was getting a mate. And quick note, I've decided that Claire and Mink have older siblings. I don't know if they're ever going to show up, so I'm not sure if I'm going to ever design them. But they exist. And then early concept for third draft, Hazel. Quick note, when I was in the very early stages of concepts, this is more or less what the family tree looked like. I had these 2 designed and named. He did not have a design. He just existed as rogue leader. And these 3 were having their original designs. Which really, the only thing that's changed outside of me giving Sapphire a purple eye is Hazel. Not Hazel, Heather. Who now has heterochromia. and is a creamish tabby with tuft ears. Um, yeah. Fun fact, since I do now roll for things, for some traits, I did roll this one with a maximum of 2 could have tuft ears, because I'm not making Sapphire have tuft ears if I'm going to do the ear flop thing. That's too much work for me, I feel like. But yeah, these three, not three, these five were been designed and named. Originally, some of these were going to have different names, aka Forest of Walnut. Originally, Poppy was supposed to be a Tom, but I decided for lore reasons, aka Hazel might actually reject Poppy, and I didn't really want to deal with that, especially when she willingly took in Sar's kit, who also has red on her. So I decided, for the sake of my sanity, of Hazel not rejecting her kits, especially when she rejected a kit who has similar colorations, that she would not be affected by that. And then I go here, where I realize I cannot do the family trees anymore on this canvas unless I shrink the cats. I'm pretty sure I've not done Shard and Goliath yet. If I have, I've forgotten. Granted, this attempt was a little while back. Quick note, Thistle is Todd, whose name's missing for some reason's nephew, because Todd's brother Ash is Thistle's father. So, technically speaking, Hazel's kits with Thistle are also related to these three. I mean, not these three. Actually, it's not Hazel's kits. It's Todd's and Shay's kits are related to these three, because they're also Shadow's kits. I gave also an extra sibling, Umbra, and I brought back Ghost. Are they alive? I have not decided yet if they're alive or not. I might just make them alive because they're here. I didn't mark for Stones. Guess I knew he had Sword of Molly's, and was uncertain how I needed to recount his kits and stuff, so I need to put that there. And then I was also realizing I don't have room for Shard and Flint's kits here in this spot, especially when I know they have a minimum of 3 litters. And even if I was just going to show the first litter, that's kind of pushing it for space. And then I also wanted to show more stuff. Minx does have kits before Hazel even shows up at the cliff, so yeah. The basic plan is Mink has a litter around when he's probably producing a litter around the same time that Shard is born. So they're going to be a bit older than the second litter, which is Hazel, Stone, and Hawk. But yeah. Also, fun fact about Merlin, he used to be named Ace, but I renamed him so he would not be mistaken with the main character who's named Ace. Also, some characters did get slight redesigns. I also gave the Cursed Tom red eyes. I don't know if he always had red eyes. I love how Kabuto has slowly gained Slade's old design, and then Slade just got some darker markings. Flora has her marking. But here's Russell, Tavia, and Fennel. I need to go back to marking who's Twisted Shadows and not. Because I know for a fact on this tree it's more than just Kabuto, who for some reason is missing his name right here. I'm pretty sure most of Hazel's kids here are Twisted Shadows. I know Heather is. And my reasoning for also I can't do Stones easily anymore is this. So fun fact, Stones first and second litter should be days apart from each other for age. He mated with both Tiny and Lichen the same day. Also, if Stick and Fate have kits, that's a later thing. Also, minor note, yes, they are Amber's second litter. Her first litter, I'm half convinced at this point that I'm going to state that they are just all dead by the time Stone shows up at Cliff. Not Cliff. at Shadow Forest. Stone named his first litter, which is Lumera and Monk. Oh yeah, fun fact, Deidre helped me with the names. So some of these names might be names that he thought, oh yes, this will work for the character, and make up a random thing that I might not even do to them. And then Tiny named her entire first litter, which is Garter, named after Grandma, Trout, Salmon, Tuna, all because she knows Stone loves fish. It's his favorite piece of prey. Moss, because, and Tulip because she heard that his sister Hazel was named Hazel, and she thought, you know what, just to remind him of his sister, he may not be dead. Here. Also, I did start marking cats who on their litters. I am making a first litter for Jewel and Falcon, and then I need to make him a older mate who's dead with maybe 1 to 3 litters, because Falcon is a man whore. This is Crystal's second litter. Stone's third litter is Crystal's second litter, which is Sparrow, Dove, and Shiver, as you guys recall from the quote-unquote second draft family trees. And then I added Apollo and Obsidian. And I rolled for Twisted Shadows, which I got 2, so I decided just to make the 2 new ones. Also, Obsidian's 100% there to be a red herring, because Shadow Knight is lying and saying, yeah, he started Crystal's second litter, when he did not. He's just a father figure. And the fact that this is here helps. Apollo takes off after his aunts a little bit, design-wise, or coloration-wise. She's picking up on those reds that have been mutated from the brown. Because, fun fact, I noticed especially when looking at not Falcon's end of the tree, but Falcon's brother's side of the tree, that a lot of those bright browns turn more reddish, or at least have a slight orangish reddish hue instead of just straight brown, as I like to see it. And because of that, Diamond and Garnet, who are new to the family tree, do have more reddish tints. And Diamond herself originally was much brighter and more reddish instead of this dull red brown. I think the color is close to wine or whatnot for the coloration. I don't remember. I also decided Jewel is tough-eared. I'm still debating if it's the father or the mother that she gets that from. I just know her brother, Galen, does not have it, nor does he pass it on with Nothritz. And Dustin most definitely does not have it. Silver has it in her tree, so Maple has it. And maybe one of their kids from their second litter will have it, maybe. And then Dustin, when he meets with Star, eventually, at least one of them will have tough years because, yeah. But yeah, I need to do this for Hawk. At this point, I also need to do it for Tiny, because the 3 confirmed litters she has are from 3 different Toms. If I go here, we can see why a little bit. This is also where I confirm how many kits Mink's daughter has, which is 2 litters. Mink also is gonna have 2 litters, bare minimum. Where, as I said, Mink's daughter is a bit older than Hazel. Actually, they might need to be older than that. I don't know. Because she has 2 litters. I don't know. I'll refigure out the age stuff later. It's not a top priority for me to figure out their ages this exact second. But, as you see, Sven is also a cheater. He's horny. He's officially mates with Mink's daughter, who I've not named or designed yet. But he also has a thing with Raven. Granted, Raven had a blackout heat, so it's hard to say if Sven just walked upon her at the right time, or he realized she was starting, or he's aware of her rough heat cycle and was kind of stalking her, hoping to get laid. It's hard to say. Like, I want to lean toward he was stalking her, but at the same time, who knows? It can be up for debate. Because she had a blackout heat. Basically, what blackout heat is the cat and he instinct dish takes over, male and female breed. And then Raven immediately laid with Thorn right after, realizing she had laid with Sven. And then she has her most successful litter to live. Crow, Buttercup, Clover, Leaf, all from Thorn, mostly daughters. And then from Sven, Fox, Vulpin, and Vixen. Vixen is a twisted shadow. Please note, neither Raven or Sven or Thorn's bloodlines have twisted shadow in them, so purple eyes are required for that. And then Fennec, further showing that she is not mates with Thorn. I changed it to Ocean, who I designed before naming, and tweaked these two. Canonically, I want to say Fennec actually did have a larger litter than this, but these two are the only two surviving kits because the loss of Ocean was a harsh loss for her. She was not expecting him to be dead or die to the Eastern Rogues, and then Timber, per normal, is the only survivor of his litter. He's all alone. He's still gonna be a big buff healer though, with Zinnia. My favorite thought, having the healers be big and buff. And then we go to Con and Tiny. We did not mark this as the second litter because this is not a genealogy tree. Whatever tree I made with stone. But Con originally, as you guys saw on the earlier frame tree, had nothing there. And then I remembered, oh yeah, he's gonna have kids with Tiny as her quote unquote punishment for trying to run away. She didn't try to run away with her kids. No, she gave them the stone and then she tried to run away. But her punishment was to have kids with him. And then she has these kids. Spotty's my favorite out of all their designs. And these guys actually don't have full body designs yet. The rest of the characters on this tree more or less do. And I do say more or less because I haven't gotten to Tiny, Light, or Snake yet. But Snake is pretty easy because she's just albino. I just need to do her eyes and put in the pink colorations. She has no markings because she's albino. Minor thing that this is not a show because I don't list it here. Tiny is descent of Izzy and Talon through Snake. But I have rough plans for most of these cats. Let's say Tiny's second litter has their own role to play and it's not in the Shadow Forest. Unless they change my mind. But yeah, the big connect tree is where I started to realize I can't easily, if I want to list everybody, place everybody. I can go back and try to add more of these cats for their trees and their litters. But it's gonna get tight real quick. Like, I don't have much room. Unless I lower this, which I can't really lower any further. I can't really put Shay's kits, Shay and Todd's kits here. I still need to, I would put all of Stone's kits there. Hawk's kits don't have third draft designs yet, but I could try getting most of them there. But he has a lot of kits. Not Shadow Knight level kits, but pretty close. He's supposed to have more than Stone. And for funsies, let me show off some other litters real quick. Oh, I'm on the wrong tree. For funsies, real quick. Let me click on them. Here is Ace's family tree, or his basic family tree. Quick note, I'm gonna be adding in an extra litter for these two. For Fisher and Juno. I don't know why I didn't place that there. I think it's because this tree was just made for the anniversary video. Is when I wrapped a bunch of these trees for. So they were just meant to be quick little family trees. So I didn't have to use the bigger ones to show off when I was mentioning main characters, basic family trees. The previous version of, yeah, Leaf and Fox. The more updated version, which didn't have room for Con's litter or Phoenix. And then Merlin v Slade. Merlin has these kits. Slade has these kits with Shadow. I know this is a bit of a weird episode, but yeah. This is basically all the family trees. For just so you're all aware, how I do family trees is I grab the bust from their reference sheet, and then I place them. And if they don't have a reference sheet yet, I'll just grab the template and then color it in, and then put that colored version into the reference sheet. Originally, I was going to make a small version for the family tree bust. For whatever reason, I scrapped that idea. I'm kind of regretting that now because these little busts are actually too big for the canvases. Even if it does mean that they're going to be itty bitty, it's if I want to place more bigger, complex family trees, it's a bit small. Very random note. I'm debating who I'm doing next. I could do Shadow Knight. He has all the kits. He really does. And I'm gonna literally have to put on his warning. This might change. But this is actually his only adoptive litter. I do need to do Hawk, who's gonna be interesting. And then I need to do Tiny at some point. Basically, anyone with more than 2 mates or sires to their litter or mothers to birth the litters. Basically, anywhere where I would need to put a sorted, I'm gonna start making this type of thing for them to help mark what litter is what by who, and it'd be a rough family tree. So if that cat has siblings that is not the one that the tree's pointing out the litters of, I will just show their litter mates and their parents and mark what litter they're part of. Granted, if I have to do that for either end of Leaf or Fox, I might just do their full-blooded siblings and not their half-siblings, because that complicates it too much. Also, Snowy got a slight redesign. For a second draft, I had him have these tier markings. I didn't like them, so I got rid of them. Also, minor note, Stone has green eyes. I got rid of the blue eyes thing, so only place that he can have blue eyes for kits is with Crystal and Tiny, because they have blue eyes. Which means also Sparrow does not get dark blue eyes, he gets lighter blue eyes. And Tiny eyes are pretty bright blue. But we got this and this. Tiny's kits cannot be Twisted Shadows or Visionaries, according to the current lore. I could change that, but I don't feel like changing that right now. The reason is, for whatever reason, there's a block on Izzy's descendants from having the ability to have kits that are Twisted Shadow or Visionary, unless they give birth by the tree. And that will remove the block or whatnot. If you guys want to see more family trees, let me know. If you want to see the actual process of me actually doing a family tree, let me know. Who knows, maybe that'll be a future video. Since I now know how to roughly speed up videos, I just need to make sure I mute myself for talking, because that becomes garbled, which we don't need. If you guys want to see more of my characters, my DeviantArt has all the characters that have designs listed, aka posted. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!